Welcome back to the Keeping It Real with KC podcast. I, of course, am your host, KC Phoenix. Woo, boy. So, this is what we're talking about today. I was like, hence the title, I guess it's time to talk about the Dalai Lama. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm about to offend some people. And I'm fine with that. Because as the saying goes, like I said to somebody in HR last week, the truth is like rain. It doesn't care who it falls on. And here we are. I could show you the video, but honestly, I could only watch that video once. For those who don't know, there was an incident where the Dalai Lama was visiting somewhere. I think it was in India, if I'm not mistaken. Shout out to India. And they had the kids and stuff. Little boy asked the Dalai Lama, can I come up and hug you? Because mind you, the Dalai Lama is a spiritual leader. He's the person who celebrities have gone to, so many people have talked with, seeking spiritual guidance. Now, let me be clear about something. I have to separate the shenanigans from the spiritual teacher. And I know some people are like, Casey, what are you talking about? I'm talking about one thing about God, or the divine source, the light, the one, is that he's very known for using imperfect vessels. People who, Moses was a murderer, and that is a fact. Read the Bible. That's why he didn't get into the promised land, because he had murdered someone, but God still used him. Old girl was a prostitute. God used her. And I'm trying to think. So many other people. Saul was a murderer. Saul used to kill people. And then, of course, rode to Damascus, blinded, then finally was able to see again, whatever. That happened. Or Paul. Because he changed his name. And the list goes on and on and on. There are people throughout history, as referenced in the Bible, where they were not perfect. They were not the ideal thing. And I think with the universe, when it comes to God, that's like his thing. He's like, I'm going to take something that is imperfect, which we're quiet as is kept, we're all imperfect, but you know what I mean. Something that is out of the norm, something that is out of the cookie cutter image of what people expect. And I'm going to take that person and I'm going to lift that person up. And I have to say all of that before I get ready to talk about this man, because I don't want his shenanigans to derail any good work that he has done. And clearly throughout the years, the Dalai Lama has been I would say, he's had his place in history for many years. Like so many people have talked about the Dalai Lama. Now, let's get to the incident that happened, which Cardi B already covered this too, about there being predators out there, and you never know when they can be in the church, they can be billionaires, they can be this, they can be that, and all of that is true. My thing is, this was not in a room of just the little boy and the Dalai Lama. This was in a room of a whole bunch of people. We had kids sitting on the floor. We had adults around. And like I said, it started out cute at first, where the little boy was like, hey, can I give you a hug? And I was like, aw, that's adorable. Like, that's so cute. Kids are so innocent. He just wants to come. He just wants to hug the man. Hugging him will make him happy. So, okay. So then the little boy gets up and goes in to hug him. And then he just gives him a big hug, kisses him on the cheek, showing love. All right. So after that happens, this is where it starts to go off the rails a little bit. And the Dalai Lama looks at him and says, because the kid had already kissed him on the cheek when he hugged him. So the Dalai Lama looks at him and says, here on the lips. And the little boy paused for a second. and was like, okay, my spidey sense is going off, but this is the Dalai Lama, so I'm going to go ahead and give him a pass. So he went ahead and kissed the Dalai Lama on the lips. All right, because even then with the kiss on the lips thing, some people's eyebrows did go up in the room. They were like, kiss on the lips? He just kissed him on the cheek. Why he asking to kiss him on the lips? But okay, all right, he's the Dalai Lama. He's the Dalai Lama. He can kiss him on the lips. Okay, fine. But after that, the Dalai Lama's like, now suck my tongue. I want to cuss so bad right now. You just don't know. I want to cuss so bad right now. But again, this particular podcast, I need to hurry up and get my other podcast going because I can cuss over there. I can really let it loose over there. I'm going to keep this family friendly. So when the Dalai Lama asked him to suck his tongue, even the little boy paused. And it was sort of like, the pause was for the adults. I could feel the little boy in his head was like, did you just hear what this mofo said? Is an adult going to say, well, that's enough for today, Dalai Lama. Whatever your name is, come on back down here. That's enough. Thank you so much. All right. We didn't get any of that. Nobody said anything. That's my issue. Where as soon as he said, suck my tongue. And honestly, when this video first surfaced, I thought it was a deep fake. I really did. I thought it was a deep fake. For those who don't know, a deep fake is where you take audio visual stuff that is fake but make it look real. So basically you concoct this and it didn't happen. Because when I was reading the titles of the video and whatever, and one of the titles was, when I was looking online, Dalai Lama asked kid to suck his tongue. And I was like, that's a deep fake. That's not real. Or whatever. So I didn't even bother clicking on it. But then it was picking up more and more steam. And then people who I actually find somewhat reputable, they were covering it. And I'm like, wait a minute, is this for real? This can't be real. So then I go and finally watch the video. And I was like, see, I was getting ready to say something that started with an N. This person asked this kid to suck his tongue. This person asked this kid to suck his tongue. And nobody stood up for this kid. That's what's irritating me. It ain't even about the Dalai Lama. We already know there's some perverts in the world. And again, I don't mind perverts, but have class about it. Again, I was talking about this in my other Wacky News episode about the girl who was caught the customer who caught the employee at the drive-thru having sex and heard the employee moaning through the drive-thru. You can check that out. It's because I played all of that too. But as I mentioned before, there needs to be a list of rules if people are going to be freaks, as in sexually adventurous, of things you don't do. One of the things that I said should be on that list during that episode is you don't do things around food. Like food where people have to consume food in restaurants and all of that other stuff. Don't do that. No. Have a little class about it. Another rule that's on this list, leave the kids alone. It's okay to be a freak. Just not a freak with kids. Leave the kids alone. Have some class. So, again, with the whole Dalai Lama thing, that was whatever with him. That's him and his, I don't know if it's his demons or whatever he dealing with. Because honestly, I think he just got old and forgot other people were in the room and was doing a throwback in his mind of something that may have happened then. Now, I don't know if that is the case. I'm just saying it gives the impression it is. But I digress. Going back to the people in the room, there were several adults in the room. That's what irritated me. Is that none of you mofos, none of you said anything. Like I said, the kiss thing on the list, okay, fine, whatever. It was a little bit off, but he's the Dalai Lama. We can give him a pass. But the tongue, when he said, now suck my tongue, and he was pointing at his tongue, and the little boy, again, he paused, because he's like, you nasty. But he was just, and the little boy played it off and stuck out his tongue, and then put his forehead on Dalai Lama's forehead, because it was like, because he was like, I'm not sucking your tongue. But the thing is, it shouldn't have even came to that. The little boy shouldn't have even had to play it off. One of the adults should have been like, okay, thank you, Mr. Dalai Lama. I don't know what his name was. We gonna call him, I don't know. Pick a name. We're gonna call him Little Boy. Little Boy, come on now. Come on down from the podium with the Dalai Lama. That's enough with the Dalai Lama for today. If I were an adult in the room, as soon as that would have came out that man's mouth, I would have walked right on up to that stage, grabbed that little boy's hand, and be like, thank you, Mr. Dalai Lama, and brought his ass right back down to the thing with the other kids. Because we're not sucking tongues today. We're not doing that. So, this whole thing, that's what threw me off. Was no one said anything after he said, suck my tongue. Everyone afterwards started saying stuff. I can't believe the Dalai Lama did this and that, and this and that, and this and that, and this and that. And it's like, yo, and maybe some people felt like they didn't want to embarrass him. But dude, it's already on camera. He was caught in 4K. So why not nip this in the bud right then and there? And just go get the little boy, bring him off stage, and say thank you. That's it. That's all we have for today. That's it. But nobody did that. Why? Why didn't anyone say anything? When those words, and you know what? I'm going to grant grace, just a little bit of grace. I'm going to grant just a little bit of grace. Maybe, just maybe, the shock of the situation just shut people's brains down. Maybe that happened. The shock of the situation just shut people's brains down. Where they were like, oh my God, did he just ask him to suck his tongue? What do we do? Maybe. Just maybe. However, yeah, if I would have been in that room with the other adults, I would have straight up told them, you aren't saying anything, I'm about to say something. If we would have been talking like I'm one of the teachers and they just quiet, I'm like, okay, you're not going to say anything, I'm about to go up there and say something. And I would have walked my ass right on up there, grabbed that little boy and brought his ass right back down with the rest of the kids. And was like, nope, that's it, thank you. And I probably would have just ended the thing right there. Thank you and good night. But yeah, nobody said anything. That's all I got. I was like, I had to talk about it. Clearly, it was a news story. Here we are. Okay, KIRWKC.com, main podcasting platform. Until next time, be blessed.